Welcome to Barcelona. This is ISE 2023. This is Rich Fregosa, Uncle Richie for AVNation TV. I'm here with Ed Qualls, who is the CEO of Just Add Power. Ed, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, normally I've got the good fortune of being able to interview one of your counterparts. We all know Taft, who is near and dear to all of us. So this is my first opportunity to get a chance to talk with you. I was here in summer, and you were too.
Yes.
for the show. And when we had the show open up in 22, we were already delayed by COVID. And the first thing that happened when the show opened up, we all kind of sat there and went, is this going to happen? What's this going to look like? And it felt like there was some relief that the show was moving forward. Now we're back on schedule. It's 23, it's January. It's not the same weather that we would love to have. But what was your impression of the show opening up?
Well, now it just felt like it's a show. Right. Nothing different, and no doubt on what's going to happen. The doors are going to open, the people are going to come, because we learned that last May.
Absolutely. And the traffic and the floor, what's the response been at this point?
Other than the first hour bottleneck for the King, it was pretty good.
Oh, did he pass through?
Well, yeah, the King walked through yesterday morning, and it sort of blocked everyone, but now the traffic's flowing nicely.
That's fantastic. This is obviously a technology show. But one of the things we tend to forget about a technology show is that we all love what we do, and there's people that make up these companies. Your story as a company has always been a fascinating story because there were a lot of things that you were first to market to. A lot of times when people come in, they know the product, they know what you're making, but they don't get a chance to know you collectively as a company. I mean, when you get to a trade show, we get to talk to you, we get to find out a little bit more, but for somebody who hasn't had a chance to meet you or Taft or anybody else, how did you find yourself at Just Add Power? How did it happen?
Well, it began more than 30 years ago. You know, this is our 30th anniversary this year, but
I didn't
more
know
than
that.
30 years ago, I was at IBM. And that's where I coined the phrase Just Add Power, because I got very frustrated with the standard IBM response to customers saying, well, that's not supported. Unless it was their idea, that's not supported. And customers came in and said, I want to do this, this, and this, we would say that's not supported. And I said, that's not what they want to hear. They want to say, you want to do this, this, and this? Sure, we can do that. Here's the price. Just add power, it'll work. So I came up with that idea at IBM, trying to embrace customers' ideas versus pushing them away and trying to keep them in your little box. And that philosophy has followed through to this day. We have a Just Add Power mindset. We solve our dealers' problems. More often than not, they're problems with something else, but our philosophy is if you want to do that, we're going to make it work.
Well, obviously, we've now transitioned into the AV over IP world. But there's a lot of firsts that you were able to provide. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the firsts that you were able to provide that obviously there's a lot of other companies that are catching up on.
Okay, well, 2008, I'm walking around the floor at Infocom with the first generation AV over IP devices, and everyone but one booth said, you can't do that, that's impossible, you must be crazy. So then we fast forward two years later, 2010, I'd been to a couple trade shows with working equipment. I still got being told it can't be done, or this is illegal, it's impossible, when we came out with our gigabit-based second generation product. And today, we're still selling products that are compatible with those, because sustainability and longevity is really important to me. A lot of companies like to make disposable products. If a customer bought a system from us in 2010, they can add the latest and greatest things to it you see today, and they don't have to throw anything away.
When I was at Infocom, there was a great conversation that we had, and when we were speaking earlier, you called it kind of your epiphany moment when you thought about the product. There's that dreaded phrase that we all don't like to mention at this point, right? The dreaded S word, supply chain issues. Yeah. You as a company took a really unique approach to how you were going to address it and still be getting product out. There was, you saw the problem, you came up with an answer, and now we're 8 months, 7 months from that. What happened from Infocom to now, and what were you able to achieve?
Well, I'd say there were a couple key things. One was our commitment to the products means I'm not afraid to buy silicone. A lot of these companies are just they don't even make it till it's built. But I was already figuring out that if I bought more silicone in volume in advance, I got better prices. So my greed for profit encouraged me to buy lots of chips. And then when this chip shortage appeared, well, I still have a ton I have about a year or two supply always of the silicone. I buy it in advance. And then the only ones we ran out of were a Dolby chip and a Dante chip. And for the Dolby chip, we re-engineered our product design to allow the chip to be pluggable. So you could have the chip unplugged and the board works fine without the Dolby function. And then when you plug the chip in, when it became available, the Dolby functions all come back. And we're happy to say in December, or actually November, we started shipping all the Dolby chips to get everyone back to the function they wanted. So we were able to ship product, get projects up and running, limping on stereo, and then they go to Dolby mode when we get the Dolby chip.
And they were still able to get projects in and,
yes.
and projects done. All right, well, through the magic of technology, we're gonna skip forward in time. Now we're gonna start talking about some product. So we're gonna get on product right now. All right, Ed, magically, we've transported ourselves over to the wall. Isn't technology great at this point?
Snap your fingers.
Snap your fingers and work our way through. Now let's talk tech.
Okay.
You're here for a reason. What are we expecting from Just Add Power for 23?
Okay, for 2023, two key messages. One is we continue to support and sustain our mainstream line, which supports 1080p and 4K customers. And including some for people who want 1080p only, we have more economical versions. And as you move up, we have a variety of features you can add or delete. We're showing our artistic video walls up here.
Always one of the best displays at every trade show.
Well, we have our little tricky spinning monitor here. It shows that we can orient video any way, and it magically goes where we want it to go. That's smart technology. And then throughout here, you see different variations. You know, we have rack mount versions of our product. We have standalone versions, and they all work together in a way that lets them build a system that's right for the features the customer needs.
Right. Now, got the sustainability message. There's new product and a new message that you're talking about.
Well, for example, that first product came out with 2008. After 2 years, we realized we need to go from fast Ethernet to gigabit. So we had to leave 1G behind to be able to do all the stuff we wanted to do with 1080p and 4K and everything else. And those mainstream products we plan to keep going for as long as the market wants them. But then there was a new market came to our attention, the high-end marketplace for video, the 4K 60 444 people. And everyone was saying you had to do that on fiber and expensive stuff. We engineered how to bring that down to gigabit LAN again. So we have the MaxColor series, which can be bridged, but isn't really directly compatible with the 3G series. But it answers, and we've had a lot of projects come on board because they needed that for hiring command and control centers, people who need deep color, like art museums and stuff. And in that product line, we've even gone one step further. We're announcing 2 new products today, the MaxColors. These, we've introduced a fiber port.
Oh, okay, great. That's fantastic.
And it's still a copper port on it because it's still gigabit. And then we've added USB over IP. We've
Huge difference at that point.
Yes. We were approached by a command and control center project that needed to be able to run on copper and fiber, and it needed USB. So we re-engineered these products to meet that requirement. It's one or the other, but it's still on 1 gigabit.
Well, at that point, right, you get what you want, just add power at it, right? Well, fantastic. Well, there's a lot to see. Obviously, if they can make it here to Barcelona to see the show, they can see all of the technology on display. But if we can't make it to Barcelona, how can they find out? How can we find out more information about Just Add Power?
Well, go to justaddpower.com. It's a smart place to begin, and from there you can get most of your questions answered. It's easy to contact us there. Everything you need to know.
Well, you give us all the answers. You made it just as easy to get the information, right?
Thank you.
Well, great. Well, if you want to find out more about Just Add Power, you can find them on their website. If you want to find out more about our coverage at ISE 2023 in Barcelona, you can find it on our website. This is Rich Fregosa, Uncle Richie for AVNation.tv.